Welcome to the Stretch to Go podcast. My name is Ian Ray, your host. And today we have the special privilege of having Kevin Darby, co-founder of Stretch to Win Canada. Kevin, welcome to the Stretch to Go podcast.
Thank you. Ian. Good to see you, man. Good to see you.
Yes, sir.
I'm sitting outside trying to enjoy some of the nice weather here in Alberta, in Canmore, Alberta.
So kind of tell to the audience, my audience will love to hear who you are and how you got involved with Stretch to Win.
I'm just a tight guy. I'm a tight guy who, for my whole life, I've just felt like everyone says, man, you are a tight guy. And I committed especially when I was younger, to stretch all the time. And one day, a gentleman I know, his name is George Goudros. He had done the training with Chris and Ann. And I believe he was one of maybe two people in all of Canada who had done the training. And he put me on a table and he tractioned my legs. And I think he did the glute series. And I got off the table and I said, I got to learn this. And then I went down to Arizona. I met Chris and Ann. I did some of the training there. And I said to them, man, if we could bring this to Canada, I would love it. And they said to me, if you can find 30 people, remember, this was sort of in the late 2000s. There weren't a lot of people that were attending the courses at that time. So 30 was a big jump. We put on the first course in Canada and the rest is history. So we ended up becoming business partners. So I am the co-owner of Stretch to Win Canada with Chris and Ann. And yeah, I'm proud to say the Toronto or the Greater Toronto area in Canada has the largest number of FST practitioners in the world. So it's very, very popular within the Greater Toronto area, and we're working to expand it. So that gives you the background, where it started, where it came, and where we are now, and how I met you.
How did it become so quick? Like, what was it that you think it caught on wildfire there? You tell me. You're the guy behind it. So
yeah, well, I mean, I'm the guy behind it in that I was responsible for putting together the team. We have a team in Canada of about 8 of us, and the team members themselves were quite instrumental in growing the practice. But yeah, it just caught on, and it hasn't been a slow build. We're looking at the first course, like I said, around the late 2000s, maybe it was 2010. I can't remember exactly when the first course goes. So we've been here in Canada, 15 years already. And I would say somewhere around 2015, 2016, there just seemed to be this rapid uptake. It got very popular in the gym settings. And then it sort of went all the way through the registered massage therapy programs. In our current courses, it's probably about 55 to 60%. Personal trainers, kinesiologists, movement specialists, about 30% registered massage therapists, and then the last little bit is a mix of everything. That's sort of where it kicked off, but primarily the kinesiologists and the personal trainers were really the drivers behind the growth of the business.
So I guess for you, do you happen to know where and when exactly you start? How did you find all your team members that are, teaching these courses? Like, were they actually students who became it, or were you?
Yeah. That's it, Ian. They were just students who, there was something that they had that they brought to the table. Most of them needed to have a successful FST business to start off. And then they had some background in adult education. One of the unique things with Stretch to Win and my education background, I have a bachelor in adult education, and teaching adults is called andragogy, and andragogy is different from pedagogy. Pedagogy is teaching kids. So we've really leaned into the instructional design method, and we use that instructional design method to build the courses. And we found people who had a background in teaching adults, so they could match with the method quite well. And that's where our growth has been. We are very, very vigilant with surveying, debriefing, training every day. So the evolution of the training, the evolution of teaching the skills has come from that engagement from the instructors. That's why I say they're instrumental in the growth of the business.
Yeah, no, definitely. The twice that I've been there to the course over there in Burlington, definitely, they are true humans who really care about you, and they want you to understand and know how to do the movement. So that's definitely been helpful, and they've been great. Kind of I want to hear some real life success stories you've had in your life doing FST? What were they coming in for? How has it impacted you? And how has it impacted them, actually?
It's a growth journey. The initial journey was I just wanted to help mostly athletic people improve their performance. And then there was a shift. I was never a kumbaya type individual. You talk about the energy that comes in, connecting with that energy has been something that sat on the edge for me. But for FST, it made it clear the impact of not just on the myofascia, but the neurofascia. That's why we talk about it being a dual mobility system, that so many people have previous traumas, and those traumas don't have to be a trauma in the traditional sense. The trauma can be from a car accident. And because of that car accident, there is both physical restrictions. And when you release those physical restrictions, you get some of these mental restrictions, some of the recall of the pain, the adversity that the person has faced through that recovery. And I think for me, the big success stories, to go back to your question, was when I was working on someone because they came to me with these physical limitations, and we were able to address all of the mental trauma that went on. We were successful in setting it free. And in some cases, we thought the it was the restriction in the tissue, but the it was all of the psychological baggage that sometimes comes with that. And baggage, I don't say it in a negative way, just it's baggage. It weighs something and you're carrying it with you. So that was really what I would say the breakthroughs were when we realized that this is not just a stretching system that's improving range of motion. This is a system that is setting it free. And for so many people, they are dealing with mental health issues. They're dealing with chronic pain because the hardware has fixed, but there's still this lag and the software's never been addressed. So I would say for me, addressing the software, helping people with their mental health, giving them confidence back for performance, allowing them to walk up and down the stairs, pick up their kids, do the things that they want to do, has really been the thing that I have found most rewarding with the Stretch to Win journey.
Yeah. And kind of go into the Stretch to Win. What was the process like of when you co-owned Stretch to Win Canada? What was it like working with Chris and Ann and, getting it started, getting it rolling? Like, was it a long process of learning how they taught, or like, I guess kind of, because back that's 2010, 2011, that's when you were, I guess, officially founded Stretch to Win Canada. But what was it like? Was it a process of being taught by them every single week? I don't know. How did you bring it over to Canada, basically?
Yeah, I think it was co-development. My background was in the instructional design. At the time, I still do, called DTS Fitness Education. And so my expertise and my skill is when you look at something, well, how do we teach it? How do we structure the classroom environment? At the time, the Stretch to Win program was taught in two segments. It was a 3-day lower body program and a 3-day upper body program. We decided to bring it together as 5 days with continuity. We also implemented a small group structure with one instructor or one teacher to every 6 learners. That was an important part of the process. And what I relied on for Ann and Chris was the creativity. Like, this is Ann's baby. Like, she came up with this. Sometimes you'd be like, well, how do we do this better? And she'd say, well, just put your hip here and put your foot here and your hand here. And it'd just be like, Ann, that's brilliant. That's amazing. And then Chris, with his physical therapist background, was able to say, well, yes, that makes sense. This connects to this. This flows this way. And then my part that I think the value I brought was being able to say, okay, I've got it. Now, how can we break this down? How can we use cues? How do we take this from your sort of ideas into something where people in 5 days can walk away with a high level of competence? And Ian, I think that's the biggest challenge we have. If someone wants to build confidence, they need a high level of competence. And how can we get the competence level? How can people really learn the touch in 5 days? That has been our biggest challenge and continues to be our biggest challenge. So that is what we're honed in and working on. I can proudly say every single course date, we work with our instructor team We spend the first hour of the day on the first 4 days of the week, just refining, tweaking of how we can get better. So that was a journey from Chris and Ann. They were the creators, and it was taking what they had created and then making it practical. And the process was just working back and forth of, they would do it a certain way, and then we'd say, okay, well, how can we implement that, right? How can we implement that, until we got to the point where it was like, all right, now we have cues that are universal. We have small groups. We've got the 5-day ready to hand it off and to scale it in terms of teaching other instructors that process. And we refine that process, like I said, every day of every course.
As far as with your growth right now, I know you moved to Alberta, and you're living in Mexico.
Yes.
I know there are a couple practitioners. You guys had a course recently in Vancouver, and then now I believe, having one in Alberta too, right? Is that correct?
Yes. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to replicate what we've done in Ontario, specifically in the Greater Toronto area. The system is so powerful. I feel like it's the missing piece. Sometimes I say this, and I don't know if it's the right thing to say, but FST begins where therapy ends. And what I mean by that is someone has hurt themselves, right?
Yeah.
They've damaged their knee, etc. They've been to their physio, they're going through the process, and now they're ready to say, I want to start riding my bike again. You know what? I'd love to do a 5K race. I'd love to visit the pyramids in Egypt. I want to hike at Machu Picchu. And what FST does is now says, listen, you can have the performance back. We're going to help you work through some of the psychological, some of the software limitations that you had with your previous injury, and we're going to allow you to perform. And performance should be the goal for everybody. But for some people, performance is walking up the stairs. Other people, performance is winning the Super Bowl. So I really am heavily focused on give people back the performance. And I don't want that to be limited to just the Greater Toronto area. I'd like to replicate what we've done in the Greater Toronto area in Vancouver, because we have amazing practitioners. And I'd like to replicate it in the Canmore, Calgary area. Canmore is the mountains about an hour outside of Calgary. And we've actually just found a venue here. We're going to run a bunch of courses in Canmore because it's I don't know if there's just one of the mountains. There's all kinds of mountains here. It's a beautiful place. So the goal, Ian, is what we have done within Toronto is to find the same type of instructors, the same type of teachers who are heartfelt, who really are successful with the system and would love to share it with other people. And I think there's groups in Vancouver, there's groups in the Canmore, Calgary area, there's groups probably going west. So we're just working on that sort of expansion. That's why we're doing it. And because I live out west now, I can be directly involved in the growth of those things. And the main thing I look for in every practitioner we work with is, man, I have to be the person in the room that's saying, I have no idea what all these folks are talking about. I just find amazing people who have these incredible skills, and I'm just eager to learn from all of them because I feel like they're adding tremendous value to FST, each and every one of them.
So is that one of your, not reasons, but is that why you guys moved out to Alberta? Because you're expanding stretch through in Canada, and you're finding the right teammates to work with and to really grow this. Is that correct?
I wish it was so linear. But Ian, part of it is I've got a 14-year-old daughter and a 7-year-old son. You mentioned we lived in Mexico. They learned about living in the Caribbean. They learned about the ocean, surfing. They've seen all kinds of different sea life. And they've learned a second language. They both are pretty well fluent in Spanish now. Now it's time. My daughter's 14. She loved the Canadian high school experience. This week, she's in her climbing camp. She's learning how to rock climb. We've gotten bikes. We're mountain biking. We have skate lessons next week. So as a parent, I love growth. I love learning, both for myself and my kids. We're going to experience some growth with expanding FST in the west of Canada, but also growth for me personally and my family. So the answer is more like this,
No, understood. Okay. No, awesome. But yeah, definitely.
And if I can tell you, Ian, mountain biking is hard. It is so hard, right?
I saw that you're trying to keep up with your son.
Oh my gosh, and because it's a lot colder here, I'm trying to grow a beard, but it's great. So there's all of these challenges, Ian, all of these challenges.
Looks great, Kevin. Looks great.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, I know this is part one of our interview that we've had that we're going to have. So I appreciate you hopping on to the podcast, kind of showcasing who you are, what Stretch to Win Canada it does, and of course, your stories. A lot of my listeners, who have taken this course have been impacted greatly by your teachings and your mentorings. I really appreciate you being on the podcast and hoping to do another one soon. Thank you so much.
Beautiful, Ian. Thank you. And then I always make sure that I acknowledge Chris and Ann because they are the founders and developers. Without them, none of this happens. So I appreciate you recognizing me, but I want to recognize them and our team. Like I just facilitate, and we have these incredible teachers that I just want to create the conditions and the structure for all of them to thrive. So thank you very much, and looking forward to part 2.
And for those of you who are listening, don't forget to subscribe to the Stretch to Go podcast. And if you are looking to learn how to find a practitioner first or to become a practitioner, FST practitioner, go to stretchtowin.com. You can mention Ian Ray is there for your level 1 course, either in Canada or US. Take off $200 off, and love to see you there. But yes, go to stretchtowin.com. Thanks, everyone.